Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Colonel Poole's Georgia Barbecue, home of the famous Pig Hill of Fame. Colonel Poole's Georgia Barbecue is located in East Ellijay, Georgia, 75 miles north of Atlanta.
Thank you, Greg. That was my son, our son rather, Greg Poole, who lives in Dallas, Texas. He is our producer for this show. You're seeing the whole place here on the side of the hill. And we'll go inside in just a few moments and take you on a tour there of the inside, which we call the Pig Hall of Fame. Now, Greg, you see the sign here? Seen around the world.
Yeah, I see it.
CNN, MTV, ABC, NBC, and CBS. Now, all of those are networks, as you know, and we're not joking. We have been seen around the world. We have two reports, one from Hong Kong, China, on the mainland of China there, in which a local person was there and said he saw it live back when Pat Buchanan was here running for president in 1992. And also from Jakarta, Indonesia. CNN was here, and I'll tell more about this when we go inside. All the TV channels in Atlanta, Georgia, 5, 2, 11, and 46, and also in Chattanooga, 3, 9, and 12. The Associated Press, Time Magazine, Newsweek Magazine, and People Magazine, and we're currently in the U.S. News and World Report. We'll tell you more about this after we go inside. And welcome now to the Pig Hill of Fame. This is Colonel Oscar Poole speaking.
Here we see the Pigmobile coming down the road to Colonel Poole's Barbecue.
Here's our Pigmobile. Notice right there on the fender, right there in the front, Greg, where it says Pig-Moby-Ill 101, 101.5. That's Moby from 101.5 Kicks Radio in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'll tell you more about him in just a little bit. Notice also in the front seat there is our pig that rides around all the time. I'll tell you more about this pig. I might turn on the grunt.
Sounds like a real pig.
Those sounds were heard around the world. If you look this way, folks, over toward the front door here, you see pigs on the front. Several. Take a glance at that. And we'll go inside and see if we can get some barbecue and tell you the story about this place.
Here's another view of the Pig Hill of Fame. Oscar, how many pigs are there up on that hill?
1,837. And I'm also behind about 10 or 15 in our pig box.
So there's quite a large one on the top up there. What's the story behind that one?
That's Moby, for whom the pig car is named, the Pigmobile, Chief Pig. He did so much for us on the radio that we made him the chief pig, and he's on top looking after the other pigs. Notice on his front legs there, that's Pat Buchanan, and his back legs, that's Shelley Buchanan, Pat's wife. Pat, of course, ate here on February 24th, 1992, as a candidate for the presidency. We had this place jam full. We had 500 to 1,000 people here, and I'll show you some pictures on that in a few minutes. As you can see, as Greg turns the camera to the right, we have some picnic tables out here on the snout side. You can eat inside or you can dine on the snout side on the picnic tables. And of course you can get your picture here. Not picture, picture.
Let's go inside now as the Colonel gives us a personal tour of the barbecue establishment.
All right, folks, let's see if we can hold a little barbecue here. Hey, anybody here?
Yes, sir.
Hi, this is Brenda. Hi, Brenda.
Hello, Oscar.
Say a few words here. Hey, where's Wawa?
Wawa.
Wah, 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 wah.
This is our manager, Mickey, right here.
Hello, hello world, hello.
That's Mickey. We're proud of our help here. Somebody that you order right here, of course, then you go inside and eat inside, or as I said, on the snout side. Look up here. You'll see how to qualify for the Pig Hill of Fame. How to get on the Pig Hill of Fame. You must have an honest face, good intentions, and $5. All right. Here's the menu over here. We only have one menu. I tell folks we're too poor to have more than one. So here's what you order. Let's go inside, Greg. All right, I guess you can tell who this is. This is the old Colonel himself. Of course, Randy did this. Oscar Poole, our founder, leader, hero, and all that sort of thing. We joke a lot around here, as you can tell. This was 12 years ago when I was a bit thinner and, of course, a bit younger, back in North Carolina. Now, we call this the Buchanan Room. Why? Because Pat Buchanan was here on this date, February 24th, 1992, when he had his Georgia primary for the presidency of the United States. Here is a picture of Pat Buchanan on the front page of the Atlanta Constitution. He's asking for 2 more ribs, and he's in this very room here. That's why we call this the Pat Buchanan Room. Now, here was a front picture that day when someone was looking inside trying to get in, and you see what a big... Also, this is the Atlanta Constitution later that week. Actually, I should have started with this picture right here. This was our first story, national story, and let me stop and tell you about that. On the last Thursday of January 1992, I was driving the Pig Mobile over to the Radio Shack, to Buddy's Radio Shack over just down the road here, and while I was there were 2 people at Walmart who saw me and followed me home and ate some sandwiches here, and the lady asked me about these pigs on the hill. At that time we had 307. I said earlier outside we have almost 2,000 now. We'll soon have 2,000, just a few weeks. I told her that the first day, well, before we opened here, I needed an open and close sign, and so I had a brainstorm to go down to the local feed store, Carl Hill's feed store. I thought, well, they'll have a picture of a pig on the feed sack, and I'll copy it off, and I'll make an open and close sign, pig. I did that, and I made one for myself, Oscar, Edna, my wife, and Mickey, and put them on the front, and we used those pigs, and then I had 5 or 6 more. And all the time I was saying this, Fred Bailey and Bob and Susan and Melissa and Mark, just that many. Scrap plywood, and I was playing around, just joking around. None of this Pig Hill of Fame was serious at the time. It sort of caught us, but she was writing down notes, and the other man said, "We are from the Associated Press." and we sense a story here, and we'd like to get your picture. Could we do that? And I told her about getting the first open and close sign and how we could not get a sign on the highway, and all this she's writing down. That was on the last Thursday of January of 1992. By Sunday, we were famous, and our business doubled in one day. We were in hundreds of papers, and this is the story, the original AP story. I like to tell this. A month later, I went up to New Hampshire, Manchester, to work for Pat Buchanan for his campaign. I decided I'd do that. And when I got there, I told the man we were working with in the phone bank, I said, "I'm Oscar Poole. I have a barbecue in North Georgia." He says, "Yes, I know. I saw you in the Washington Post." I love to tell that. So these are some pictures here of those early days. Here's a keyboard, and perhaps we'll come back and play you a song a little later. I play often here for our customers. When they ask me to, why, of course, we do that. All right, Greg, we'll go inside and tell some more about the story. I want to go back to that AP story there in January of 1992, a month earlier before Pat Buchanan came here. On that day, on Sunday, people came from all over the state and said they had seen us in this paper, the Marietta, Rome, Calhoun, Atlanta, and it made the rounds. The next day, I got a call from Gary McGee. No, it's Gary McKee, pardon me, Gary, from radio station WSB in Atlanta, and he interviewed me for about 7 minutes on prime time radio there, and told about the pigs on the hill and asked for a pig. And of course, Gary McKee, along with Larry Munson and Sandy and some others, are up there on the hill, and I'll show you about that a little later. Also, that the next day or two, no, that day, I was driving the Pigmobile. Here goes the Pigmobile again. And somebody stopped me and said, Moby on Kicks Radio saw your picture in the paper. He wants to be on that hill. I made him a picture, and I called him, and he was excited. And he didn't quit talking about us for about, well, you see, he hadn't quit yet. Loves our ribs, and we sure appreciate and love Moby on 101.5 Kicks in Atlanta. But after the, I didn't tell about this, Channel 3 from Chattanooga heard about it, and they called on Wednesday of that week and came over and did a feature. As I indicated earlier, we have been on all the local stations all 3 TV stations in Chattanooga and all 4 or 5 in Atlanta, as well as the networks. You'll see right here, here's Leroy Powell. Everyone in Georgia knows Leroy Powell, eating a rib here back in the Buchanan room. That's Atlanta TV 5. Here's a picture of myself and Moby when he ate here one day. Here is Pat and Shelley Buchanan in the kitchen. Shelley, his beautiful wife, Pat, myself, and Edna right there. And if you'll come down, you'll see Ludlow Porch right here. That's Ludlow. He actually was the first person to talk about us on the radio. That's Ludlow and Diane, his wife, and we're very proud of their friendship. Now, throughout this board, you'll see several artifacts. Here is John Knox campaigning for governor back many months ago. Here's Larry Maddox, the son of Lester Maddox. Both he and his father have been. Here's Becker, who ran for Congress in '92. And there's Edna in the kitchen. And let's see. Oh, here's Wendell Cross. I am so proud of Wendell Cross. I taught this man to read. He's now 69 years of age, and there he is winning Georgia's top student award for literacy. Has made several speeches across the state where the wife of the governor was. And here is John Pruitt and his wife. John is now, he was on Channel 11, he is now on Channel 2, WSB. Just got back on the TV. Here's a picture of our motel, my dad's motel in Florida, Oscar's home here. If you can see it there. Small motel on US 1 in New Smyrna Beach, Florida, which is my hometown. We haven't the time to do all these stories, but you can see examples from each one. As we move over this way, if we can, there's a close-up of Ludlow Porch. And here is Don McClellan. You'll know who he is, talking to me there, interviewing me about my ideas about the presidency. Here he is outside. And here is John Shurik from Channel 11 talking to us. And here I'm being filmed right here. There's a Channel 11 car. Here are some letters from Joe McCutcheon, very famous local person with whom I'm involved from time to time. We're both supportive of each other. He writes a newsletter. Of course, he was on national TV 4 or 5 times during '92, and I suspect we'll be again. I'm glad to call Joe my friend. He wrote this letter to me of commendation. Letter from New Hampshire, Chuck Douglas, who was a U.S. congressman, who was the campaign chairman in that state for Pat Buchanan. I got to know him. Letter from Zell Miller to Wendell Cross. Here's one from Barbara Bush to Wendell Cross. Here's a picture of, if you can see it, not sure you can, the Georgia Tech drama group. They did of all things, a barbecue drama and used our place as a backdrop. Here's Wendell Cross and myself with John Knox when Knox was campaigning for the U.S. Senate in 1992. He was a close runner-up to Coverdale in the primary. All right, that's about as much we need to do here. That's Kelly McCutcheon. Here's Ross Perot. We'll say more about that perhaps. All right, Greg, can we go over here? Now, this is not politics here. This is, can you see this, Greg? This picture right here. That's Rick Bonfim, my friend from Athens, Georgia, who is really from Brazil. And that's me, the pastor of this large church. I have just, at this moment, preached my very first sermon in Portuguese. And they're all clapping and giving me a standing ovation. I guess I should say the Lord giving the Lord a standing ovation. And that's a 5,000 member church, and this pastor, who has now turned the church over to his son, is running for the presidency of Brazil. So it's kind of strange, Greg, that I'm involved with people running for the presidency in the United States and also Brazil. I feel kind of proud of that. You have seen some of these pictures. Here's a clipping that came from Louisiana. Pat and Shelley and myself coming out the door. Here's the front page of the San Francisco Chronicle. Almost the same picture. That day when Pat came back, while there were, as I said, 500 to 1,000 people here, and that's when the media came. You've already seen this picture of the Atlanta Constitution, and that's front page. Here's the front page of the Chattanooga paper. Here's our local Chamber of Commerce secretary, and Sally, who is our public relations person, and myself, Leroy Powell there. And you'll see on the bottom here several pictures of myself and Pat Buchanan. That was in Gainesville, Georgia, when he spoke for a candidate, and I had the privilege of playing the piano for the crowd as they were gathering in. There's Ludlow Porch receiving a hat from us. There's George Bush's pig on the hill. And there's the pig mobile again. And here's the TV cameras. I think that was channel 3, Scott Montgomery there, talking to Melissa. And that was filmed that night. There we are coming in the pigmobile. You can see back in January when the leaves were off the trees. Let's see. Oh yes, Moby. Moby is the most famous country and western disc jockey in America, voted so this year. There he is. And this whole page in the Atlanta Constitution. Of course, there's his pig on top of the hill where he is supposed to be. And there's Leroy Powell's pig up there. You see it? There's Ludlow's pig. If you'll notice up here, Greg, at the very top where I'm pointing, you'll see that's me inside the pig costume that you saw in the car a while ago over at the local grade school, entertaining the kids there. And that's the first grade. Ann Leftwich is a teacher. And also her friend there, I can't call her name right now, so you'll forgive me, please, I hope. Here are some more cameras. That's the girl from Channel 2, WSB, on camp live. Here's a front yard picture, someone talking to me, I don't know who it was. There's a TV truck right there. And there I am giving Pat the right hand of fellowship as he arrives at the front door of our place. And there's a Secret Service man there, of course. There's his wife and myself, and we're standing around here somewhere. There's Pat. There's Pat there, me, Edna being talked to. There's Joe McCutcheon on his radio program. I'm right there talking with him. There's the TV truck, satellite dish, all live that day. And here's the Associated Press. They have a pig, and several of their correspondents are on the hill. And here is the WSB pig, and I mentioned Gary McKee. There's the first Moby. Can you see that? There's the first Moby down at the bottom there, but as you know, he's the chief pig now. There's, you see, Gary McKee, Larry Munson, who announces for the University of Georgia ball games, and the Atlanta Falcons. That's Leroy talking to me there as we were building this dining room right here. So I guess that's about it from this part of the room. There are more things to say. This is just tip of the iceberg, so to speak. There were many more newspapers that we were on. That, of course, we have no idea where they were. Someone told me, in fact, Billy Loudermilk, our president of our local bank, saw the paper from a friend that we were on the front page of Dublin, Ireland, and I never saw that. So you just can't keep up with it all. We are very gracious we're thankful for what the media has done for us. The media has been very kind to us. Here we are in 1993. All that I've told you so far was mostly in 1992. This is 93, and we had several coverages across the, well, I should say the South. Let's begin right here. Savannah, Georgia. The pig car was being repainted, and here I am out there in my very worst clothes I could possibly have on, with the pig head on. And this was in the Savannah, Georgia newspaper on a Sunday, all of that. And then this was the Chattanooga News Free Press on a Sunday. You can see the hill there, Moby, and all this. Up here, Greg, if you can see it, there I am putting a pig up, and that's in the Sunday paper of the Atlanta Constitution, Journal-Constitution, all of this. It was called Strange Sights to See in Georgia. And then in the fall, October of 93, the Atlanta Magazine featured us, showed me in the car here, the Pigmobile, and gave us a little story there. And let's come on down here to the right now. We are currently in 1994 in the U.S. News and World Report. This is a copy of it, and I'll show you the original in just a few moments. U.S. News and World Report in their special vacation guide called Vacation Drives. And a little note here, we expect to be on PBS, the Public Broadcasting System network, national television, sometime. I suspect it'll be spring of '95. I talked to the producer of the show here a while back. You were wondering why, how in the world all this happened? I'm wondering myself. It's as big a surprise and shock to me, the owner, and Edna, my dear wife, as it is to you or anybody else. We're laughing with you. We're happy, of course, and we have gained the respect of the business community, the people from all over the country. I think every continent in the world has eaten here. Japan, Africa, South America, United States, of course, New York City, Canada, London. You mention it, and somebody's been here. And it has become a tourist attraction. And I'd like to tell you in a moment what the man from the Swedish Embassy in Washington, D.C. said about us. Well, folks, it's been a very good pleasure to have you go on this tour. Hope you've enjoyed it. And I want to close out now with just a few artifacts. I guess I'm most proud of this letter written by the Swedish Embassy. Culture, you talk about culture. This is the cultural counselor, Ingmar Bjorkson, I guess it is, written to the Chamber of Commerce of Ellijay, Georgia, Brenda Johnson, there it is, October 18th, 93. It's indeed a funny place, this Poole's Barbecue. Funny in the right way, uniquely individual, from barbecue to Mr. Poole's car, and thus exactly what I am convinced the American dream is all about. Individualism to the delight of many others. And this man told me, he said, this place is a tacky, it's classic. And I guess I'm most proud of that one piece of paper right there, because we are an American free enterprise institution. We started with nothing in 1989. We've been 5 years here now as of this taping, and we have been most blessed. We're internationally known, and we are very happy about that. Sometime in early 93, we made this prestige book called The Big Click. Out of 10,000 pictures that were submitted by professional photographers, we made it, and I didn't know anything about it. Oh, by the way, there's the open and close sign. There's the first pig right there. I told you about earlier. And you will notice the place a little bit different there. But this book right here, that gave us some, and the next week, the Chamber of Commerce asked me to join. Here's the Atlanta magazine I told you about, and the car there in the corner. We're really proud about that. That's a beautiful picture taken in the late September sun, I believe. And of course, here is the magazine, The Great Vacation Drives, 1994 by U.S. News and World Report. It's on sale throughout the country, all around the United States, and we're getting reports now from across the country. In fact, our local police department gets calls from New York and elsewhere asking where that pig place is. And there's the picture right there. Edna, seated on the hill with me, and there are the pigs. And we're right alongside the Dillard House, not too far from here at Dahlonega. And we're most proud of that, wouldn't you be? And that's current, that's right now. I got a few pictures here. There's John Knox with Edna and me back in '92. There he is, John Knox with Wendell Cross, the man I taught to read. And there's John Knox again. We eating, looks like chicken, having a good time. I'll go through these in a hurry. There's the state campaign chairman for Pat Buchanan, his wife, Paul Quarles and Joe McCutcheon, and I've forgotten who some of these I can't see. There's Pat Buchanan in the Buchanan room, Jack Thrift, the state chairman, and there I am talking to him. And there's Pat and myself on the bus in New Hampshire when I was traveling with him in his campaign there. Here's a street out front here, just loaded, and the crowd up there may be hard to see. It's a very small picture there. There's Pat and Shelley in New Hampshire the night that they thought he'd won. The polls showed 48%. As you know, he got 37. And there I am in New Hampshire with my famous sign, Georgia for Buchanan. All the folks down here saw it. Of course, it was shown on CNN around the world. There's some more folks in the yard, the satellite dish. I believe that dish was used to broadcast to NBC. There it is, Channel 9. There again is Shelley and Pat that night in New Hampshire. Now this is where the motel where I stayed, and they told me that orange tree is 33 years of age. So they have orange trees growing in Manchester, New Hampshire. That's me. That's a real orange tree. Someone had brought it from Florida up there. There I am with Shelley. See how it's cold there. We're on the campaign trail. They're in New Hampshire. There's Pat signing some autographs, and there I am with Pat's brother. I've forgotten his name. Very famous family. Here's the media. Time Magazine and CBS and Reuters. That day when Pat was here, CBC from Canada, Reuters from London, and all those magazines and newspapers and networks. There's Pat eating. There's Jack Thrift again, the state campaign chairman for Georgia, who is our very dear friend. Now here I am making a speech while they're eating, and I am presenting a pig to Pat and Shelley, and over my head was a camera, the CNN camera, and that was seen around the world. I didn't know they were even back there. There's the girl from Channel 2, WSB, out front in the front yard. There's that camera. There's the pig in my hand that I'm there, and Pat has it in his hand there. I gave him an Oscar pig. Of course, any pig I would give would be an Oscar pig. That's Pat with the pig, and Jack's watching, and there's the CNN camera. There it is. That went around the world. Oh, there's Fred Bailey. I'm glad we got to get Fred Bailey in here. Fred is one of the best friends I have. He's him and old Sam Venable, but Fred has really been here to help me. And there he is talking with Shelley. And there's Shelley. I think she worked in the White House for Nixon. And there I am, there at the podium in New Hampshire where we had the victory celebration following Pat's speech as we're closing out on that night. I think you've seen these. Just a few more here. There's a picture of us, our place here. Notice there are very few pigs on the hill. Less than 300 there. Notice the place here. There's no dining room, and that's before Moby received his respect. That's the Earl pig, old Earl Weber, down in Florida. The front porch there was open. One media person said, Oscar's famous barbecue shack, world famous barbecue shack. We know that. But we're conservative for two reasons. We have a low overhead, and we cut out the fat. There it is again. You see the folks eating under there? Another picture up close, out front. See how big a gaping hole there was there? How little, had a little more than that when Pat came. We had that closed in front there, but didn't have the room here. There you are again. That's a very good picture. Notice how empty the hill is. And there's Moby and Jim Vann. And there's old Freddie Ray. Freddie sure is a good friend. He trades me fish for barbecue. There's Moby, Freddie singing, and Sally. I think I'm singing. And there's Jim Vann. That's Kicks Radio I was telling you about. There's Jim Vann and Moby again. Here we are again. That's me talking to Moby and Jim. There we are again. There's Moby scratching. He can't figure this out. I'm telling some big long tale to Moby and Jim. There we are again on the back porch that day. There we are again. Out front by the pig Moby Ill. The car was named for Moby. And there I am with Wendell, my student. I'm not sure where that was. I'm in my overalls and he's in his overalls. I'm very proud of that situation. There, of course, is Colonel and Mrs. Poole, Oscar and Edna Poole. Isn't that a nice picture of her? And there I am at the keyboard. I gave that keyboard away to a church in Brazil. I go down to Brazil about twice a year. I've been there 8 times already, and I gave that one away. There we are. That's me with a pig nose on, the pig Moby Ill. There I am with old Sam Venable. We're down there at the rally for George Bush. We shook hands with George and Barbara both at Woodstock. And there's old Moby, Chief Pig, 101.5. And there's Pat Buchanan and Shelley. Here I am talking with Neil Bortz. Neil Bortz, who was on WSB radio, been on the radio for years in Atlanta. He was at the picnic that I catered for. Here we are in deep conversation. There's old Sam helping cook that pig on that pit. There we are with my portable pit there in the front yard of Moby's house. There's the back of the pig mobile. Here I am again. Overview earlier of the whole place. That sign's changed, you see. I think you've seen all these. There's John Sherrick, Channel 11. Let me go through these real fast. I believe you've seen these. Oh, there's John Pruitt. John, his wife there, Ed and me. John's on WSB now. There's the entire family. There's Greg. Right there, back there. Grandchildren. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. We have 7 grandchildren. And there's a picture of a Santa, the Santa pig in Christmas time, pulled by the pig deer on top of the house. There it is again. We must show this. Back in March of 93, that's right, we had 24 inches of snow. There I am, look at there. We were closed down for 3 or 4 days, that's all. There's Richard and Wendy and myself. Place just covered with snow. 2 feet on the level. There's Denny Moore being filmed by his Channel 46 man. That's Denny making his pig. I was in Brazil. That was in January of 93. There he is again. There's the Atlanta Ski Club. We have many clubs on the hill. College groups, sororities, fraternities. You've seen these, WSB Pig and Larry Munson, Gary McKee, and so on. Back to that pig. Now we're going to close out here in just a moment by showing you some things we have here. We've got picture postcards. A little out of date, needs to be redone now. We have 3 times that many pigs now. Almost 2,000 now. We had 600 then. The Pig Hill of Fame. We're the only picture postcard place in East LJ, I think. We have the bumper sticker. Pools, barbecue, the hill, the pigs. Pig Hill of Fame, you can have one of those if you ask for it. And of course we got these t-shirts. We got red and yellow and black. Can you get that all right there? Pools, got the same logo right there. Well, it's been a real thrill doing this video. By the way, if you haven't signed our guest book, we'd like to have a record of your name and your address. We have it outside, out front there at the front door where you order. And I will send out my newsletter before long. Also, we plan to grant doctor's degrees from the Porcine University. Dr. Bob Leftwich is the chancellor and I'm the president. And very shortly now we're going to be granting degrees to selected persons from across the country. But if you haven't got your name in here and address, we'd like to have it for our newsletter. We think we'll call it Natural Geographics. I repeat, Natural Geographics. I want to give my thanks to Greg here. Thank you, Greg, for producing this video. He's our son from Texas. I have 2 sons out there in Dallas, and the lady said, no, 2 sons in Arizona. I said, no, I have 2 sons in Dallas. I want to thank all my staff here, Randy and Richard and Brenda and Mickey. Got Jim back there, our salesman. We want to thank him. All of our customers especially. And you folks who have been loyal to us and given us creative ideas, we're open for ideas. We've got several, and you have helped shape this place. In fact, Richard, a person named Richard, Dick Martin, named this place the Pig Hill of Fame. Haven't got time to tell that story because it's time for us to close this out. By the way, if you'd like to have a copy of this video, you may purchase one as a souvenir of this place, and we'd be glad for you to have it. Just ask for it, inquire, and our mailing address is Colonel Poole's Georgia Barbecue, the Pig Hill of Fame, P.O. Box 690, East Ellijay, that's Ellijay, Georgia 30539. And our phone number here is area code 706-635-4100. I repeat, area 706-635-4100. Thank you for viewing this program. If you'd like a copy of it or send one as a gift to someone, write us or call us, and we'll be glad to oblige. Don't forget your name on the our list of that we're building for our newsletter called Natural Geographics a bit later on. Thank you very much. The Lord bless you, and have a good day, and please come back and see us. Colonel Poole speaking.